Hello, I'm Reverend Rick, and it is my honor to be with you today. We really hope that this video is a blessing to you. And if it is, please consider making a donation. People watch our videos locally when they cannot necessarily come to church throughout the United States and the world. So please join us and click the link below and make a donation. Thank you, and let this be a blessing to you. God is that beautiful. God is that beautiful. As we prepare ourselves, God opened my eyes to see the spiritual truth today. I opened my ears to hear the spiritual truth today. Cross your chest and release. And I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today. The spiritual truth that I am dealing with today is there is one universal principle. One. Pay attention to me. You know I love shock value. You know I do that. There is one universal principle. It's called cause and effect. Giving and receiving, sowing and reaping, same principle. One principle. And when they go in a cycle of giving and receiving, you experience the law of circulation. I have 3 points. Make a decision, act in faith, and do it even if you have to do it afraid. Yes. So, I've told you before, I've confessed, I like television. You enlightened people don't. I love television. And as an only child, I spent a lot of time in television. I was a well-dressed, geeky kid, just kind of put it that way, right? So only child, and I grew up with older parents, but my favorite thing in the world is science fiction. And I loved Mr. Spock. I loved him, right? Because, and this probably is some revelation for me at this particular point in my life, I liked the fact that he didn't have any emotion. And maybe it just had to do with the fact that I didn't want to get hurt by people like most kids don't, but I loved it. But remember, he had a sign. It was the V, right? So Leonard Nimoy, when he was interviewed, said neither that statement nor that sign was unique. It actually is like this. And it is a Hebrew blessing to live long and prosper. So he grew up around his grandparents that were conservative, the Jewish faith. The Jewish faith, Father Abraham, the father of the 3 great Western religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. We owe him a lot. God says to him, I'm going to show you a land of promise, a land flowing with milk and honey, an illustration for abundance. That's all it means. Abundance, opulence. But here's why. Not only am I going to bless you, but I'm going to make you a blessing. And that is our heritage as well. Not only to be blessed, but to be a blessing. Abraham. Moses is always my story for a change in consciousness, because there's nothing like this change of consciousness. Moses comes from a community, he is raised as a slave, to not believe he has any power, any authority. But he finds out he does. And he holds on to the same promise that was given to Abraham, to go to the land flowing with milk and honey, the land of prosperity. But he ends up with an obstacle. And how many times have we been there, right? When you decide to make a change from where you are to the vision of where you want to be, you find yourself with an obstacle. Moses is standing there. Egypt is pulling him back. That's where he was comfortable in the past. The people that are with him are complaining, saying, Let's go back, and in front of him is the sea. The sea always means doubt and unbelief and fear, because you can't see the other side. You can't see where you're going to end up. And there's no carnival ship coming to pick up Moses. Okay? He is out there on his own with a bunch of people that are complaining. What is he going to do? We saw the video from Harry Potter. Same story. Harry Potter grows up in a home that does not want him to know that he has any power, but he does. He finally gets a vision for the future to go to Hogwarts, a place where he will not be by himself. He will be with other people like him. Something like being here this morning. We could just call this Hogwarts if we wanted to. A place where you feel at home, that you're okay. That's what Harry wants. So Harry gets a vision for the future, and Harry gets there, and he is instructed to go to platform 9 3/4. And even though he knows the path, it has been given to him, the instructions have been given to him, he cannot see 9 3/4. He cannot see the promised land. He cannot see the other side. So what is he to do? So what happens? Is he to take a blind leap of faith and hit the wall? No, he stands there confused, just like us when we get to that obstacle in life, trying to think, did I really know what I was doing when I got here? Should I choose 9 or 10? But as he stands there, the first kid runs by and he disappears between 9 and 10. Harry shakes his head and said, my eyes must be playing tricks on me. That just absolutely isn't true. And it happens again. What is the lesson for Harry? Hold on to your vision of your future, because if you follow the path, you will reach the land of promise. Moses, standing here, what is he to do? Egypt is calling him back. The people are complaining, and the sea is in front of him. And he goes to God and says, what am I supposed to do now? And God answers him by saying, keep moving. Have you ever been at a place in life where you are listening for a word, and the only word you get is just, keep moving? But what happens for him, which is really the fulcrum of the story, the most important part of the story to me, is God says to him, what is in your hand? Moses, what is in your hand? The point of the story is everything that you need to get to where you need to go, you already have. Okay? It's in your hand, people. It's in your hand. Even though we look at the movie, The 10 Commandments, and he's holding the staff up and the water runs by, who cares? I don't need the water to part. I need to know what is in my hand. Okay? I just need to know how to make my life prosperous. That's all I need to know. How to follow that path. And once you know that it's in your hand, no one can limit you from having it. But see, society will tell you it's all you can take. It's all you can get. But there is a complete reorientation in principle, because it says you don't take, you give. It's a complete reorientation of thinking. It doesn't seem natural. I have a little bit and I am giving it away. But you're giving it away because the law says if you give, you will receive. You cannot receive until you give. It's the way the law works. It's just the way the law works. I wish I could tell you it was another way, but it ain't. There is no other way. You must give to receive. And if you get in the cycle of giving and receiving because the power is in your hand, you will live in the law of circulation. Now, so, you can't talk about giving and not talk about tithing. Now, here's the deal. Tithing doesn't do anything for God. Giving doesn't do anything for God. It changes the giver's consciousness, okay? It changes our consciousness to give. Because to give means I have an expectation of receiving. I am just getting into the natural law of how it works. Now, I'm pretty fortunate. My parents did, and I learned too when I was really young. And I have benefited from it. And listen, there is no rule about giving. You don't have to, but you also won't receive, okay? The church, a group of people in fellowship of faith, this is an example of the law of circulation. There's nothing here to sell. There's nothing to sell. You give, people give their talents and treasure to this community for us all to be together. Now, I have learned that prosperity so far extends beyond money. Because this just happened recently in Sacramento. Many times I have to be at special functions. So I am at a private club. Because I had to be there, believe me. Because I find this stuff extremely boring. But I am walking down an aisle, hallway really, and there are the pictures of all of the leaders of this group. 100 years of leaders in Sacramento. And guess what I noticed? Not a single one of them looked like me. It's been my life. It's been my life. See, it's not so much that it's just the financial prosperity. I have ended up in places where Spirit has blessed me, and I can't figure out for the life of me how I got there, because I'm really not that smart. I'm really not. And I find myself in situations going, how did this happen? The other thing is, people will like you when they don't want to. Okay? It's a true story. I was moving here from Denver. This woman wrote me a letter. She took the envelope in the seat, and she wrote me a letter with the pencil. So she hadn't planned on this, right? I was just going to say goodbye. I'm moving to Sacramento. She writes me a letter, and this is what she says. When I met you, I did not like you. I thought you were too religious. Now, I don't know why in the world she concluded I was too religious. I'd never had a conversation with her. But for her, she did not like me. She said, but I have come to realize that you are all right. That's not the only time in my life I've been around people who didn't want to like me, and they had to anyway. Okay? See, this is the issue. I mean, here's the issue. I have learned to expect the best. I have learned, not because seriously, it's not because I am talented. It is called God pushing through my foolishness, and people see something else. I've had positions, the person who competed against me was far more qualified, from all the correct pedigree, and people just like me. But they always say, I just don't know why. And I go, I do. I do. You ain't in control, baby. Even I bought a house once, and the realtor told me, he said, Rick, I just really want to tell you, you didn't have the highest bid. I said, well, how did I get the house? He said, they liked your name. They liked my name. Amen. Okay? Honey, because here it is. Pour it on. Okay? Because see, it's unto you as you believe. Okay? And I'm going to tell you what I believe. Okay? I'm going to tell you what I believe. I believe it says, try me, and I will prove to you. I will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. You don't have room enough to receive. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. And baby, let me tell you, it's working for me. Okay? It's working for me because I'm telling you, blessed beyond my wildest dreams. The fact that I get to do what I do every day. The fact that I could be standing here. Everything that I look at, is open the windows, God. There's many more windows than there are doors in your house, right? How many doors you got? 2, 3? How many windows do you have? I counted mine. I have 14. I want every one of those windows open. So here's the issue. When Rev asked me to talk about this, I don't think she had any idea what I was going to say. Because most of the time I don't either. But the point is this. I cannot deny what truth has necessarily produced in my life. I can't deny it. It's just true. And you get to a point when you live in this cycle of circulation where you expect it to work. You expect everything you to do to prosper. You expect it. If somebody tells you no, you tell your mind, oh yeah, don't tell me. Don't tell me this sea is in front of me, but I still know the promised land is on the other side. I'm standing at the wall, but I'm going through this wall. Okay? So know this from here. It is time for the pledge campaign for next year. And I am inviting you to live by the law of circulation. I'm inviting you to do it. Yes, every time you give, you receive. It's without question. But there's something about the cycle of everywhere you go. There is a line in the scripture that says, your blessings will chase you down and overtake you. Okay? And there's another one that says, and everything that you do will prosper. That's the world I'm living in. As much as I can live there. Because see, here's the issue. You may not consider me blessed or prosperous, but you don't know where I came from. And nobody knows where people came from. I have been blessed by God beyond my wildest imaginations. And for that, I am thankful. So here's the deal. I am going to give you one practical application about what is in your hand, what you already possess for prosperity in your life. I'm just going to give you one bit of instruction. Get mad. Some of you are mad already because I said that word, that 4-letter word, that's time, that's not 4 letters. But here's the deal. I want you to get mad. Here's what you do when you get mad. You make a decision. A, you act in faith, and D, you do it even though you are doing it afraid. Amen? Amen. And so it is.